Hi, everybody. This isn't just the midweek chat. This is the late night midweek chat. So, be going home after Christmas Mass tomorrow, and so I thought I'd do the chat tonight in church because it's beautiful. We got the altar here. We got the Christmas tree lit up. So it probably won't be a real long chat because it's late. It's middle of the night. But I couldn't fall asleep anyway right now because after we had 11 o'clock Mass and you get pretty charged up. It's good. It's good when people come and they pray and they celebrate Christmas and wish each other Merry Christmas. And so much work goes into it with people and the ushers and the Eucharist ministers, the choirs, the decorators. There's a lot of emotion. I think this year especially I was talking a lot about Christmas memories and Christmas past. The last people that I talked to tonight all came, and they just celebrated the funeral for their mother 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago. So pretty tender time for them. Max set up this Christmas tree with different help from parishioners, but this Mac family coordinates it, and they've done it for years. They have this incredible system of pulleys and drills and cables to get that big tree up there. I'll just kind of show you a little bit. I'll see it's pretty tall, right? Anyway, there's grandkids and great-grandchildren, but I mean the main adults involved, their father died in May and their mother died in October, and they were always so, Glenn and Jan, and they're always so proud of seeing the Christmas tree lit up on Christmas Eve like this. And so must not be easy Christmas for them, but I think we make do. There's just a lot of loss in life, isn't there? And like Larry Jankowski and his electronic orchestra, the story I told tonight, you do what you can to try to brighten people's lives, to go forward with faith, to look forward to happy reunions and the end of things. But Jesus was born, God is with us, and he was born in humble estate, laid in a manger where animals ate out of. And I don't know, I was reading something about imagining the Christmas scene, and the person who was writing it made sure that we realized that for sure where Jesus was born, there was a heavy smell of manure in the air. So when you were trying to set the scene, so, it's not a big deal if you grew up on a farm. Manure is money, but, for some of us, we get maybe a little squeamish about that. But he entered into hard times, and so we might be afraid of our pain, but he's not. He comes right there to be with us. So anyway, it's an emotional time. A lot of people have a lot of grief, and children, it's at the end of Masses, last couple of Masses, I said already these, in 20 minutes, good to be here now, and in 20 minutes, this will be a memory. So it's a memory now as I'm talking here. We had a huge turnout at the 4 o'clock Mass. It's a nice memory, and because of the ushers and Christine and Patrice managing people, and Mike and Steve and other ushers, I think it came off pretty well, but it's not about numbers. I don't mean to hey, we got so many people, but it was good to see, because last year we were kind of disappointed. We set up all these chairs for extra seating, and none of them were used in the church. There were some people in the gathering space, but this year, we had to set up more chairs. And I put out so many, the sacristan put out so many hosts, and I looked out there and I heard the gathering space was really full, so we put out a whole bunch more hosts, and I didn't actually count, but the ushers said 800 to 900, I think at least 900, based on the hosts that we put out. So it's good, because we haven't had that since COVID. I think we did have that before COVID, a year or two. So I'm a little concerned, because this I guess you can't plan the church environment around just special holidays, but in the late spring, early summer, we're going to carve out that music space in the pews, and we'll have some extra seating in the balcony that'll become. But I am worried. So next Christmas, we'll miss we'll have some seating that's not there, because that's where the music people will be. But so we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But it'll be a good thing. We'll have the organ down here, a new organ, and so that's something to look forward to as time goes on. But basically, just the work of a lot of people to make things go here. Where I'm sitting right now, there are a bunch of children sitting around and heard the gospel story at the 4 o'clock Mass. And I'm going to say some other things, but mine's a little fried right now. But basically, it's good. We blessed the nativity set at actually 2 of the Masses. Got little Molly, had to talk her into holding the child and bring up her pictures on Facebook. If you want to check out our Facebook page, Holding the Child Jesus. And at the midnight Mass or 11 p.m. Mass, Isaac brought it in. Cash brought it in last year. So we got some incense lit up for the late night Mass. Add a little solemnity to things. I heard from friends in Bethlehem. I read some of their notes before the Masses. I was trying to stay positive. It's not as, I read about Gaza today. I'm trying to find out how they're celebrating Christmas at Holy Family Parish in Gaza City, and I'm not finding a lot online. There's a couple people that I follow on Facebook, and the pastor there, he hasn't had a post since October, and his last several posts were deleted, so this is no longer available. So I don't know what happened there. There's another priest who's there who's had more recent posts. So, they are continuing to congregate. They do have Christmas Mass there. I read another story about I haven't heard any of that frozen to death or not, but I know the evenings for most of the people, so many people live in tents now, right? Because all the buildings have been flattened. And it's super cold. The winter's coming. Some of them just have like a sheet or, it's very cold. They said they're so grateful when the sun rises because they know it's going to warm up. So can you imagine just like huddling together and like that? So things are really dire in Gaza, of course, Ukraine, other places. But, in Bethlehem, it's just really hard too. So the patriarch, we'd call him the archbishop here, but in Jerusalem, there's such a richness of other Christian, besides Latin Catholics. There's Greek Catholics, there's Greek Orthodox, there's Armenian Orthodox. Those are kind of the big religions over there. And so they call the Archbishop there the Latin Patriarch, because we're the Latin Church. It's like, here it's just like kind of taken for granted. If you're Catholic, you're like a Latin Catholic. But it's not necessarily so here either. People that have especially lineage, ancestry in the Middle East, they might be a Melkite Catholic or Syriac Catholic. Stephanie Saldana, who was here in October, she's a Syriac Catholic. Anyway, he's the patriarch, and he went to Bethlehem today. He arrives at the gate, he goes through the wall, and he says, just as we got through the wall, only at Israeli permission, can you pass through that wall? And he's just prayed for the day when we can pass through walls more freely. And he walked the route that I used to walk when I was on sabbatical. It's called the Star Road. And you'd go through the checkpoint, and they probably drove halfway, but I'd kind of walk. I'd go by Majdi's shop. We sold some of his ceramics right now. And then it's the walk that they, by tradition, pilgrims who walk this from would be the north side of Bethlehem to the kind of top of Bethlehem Hill and downtown area where the Church of the Nativity is. But you walk it like the Holy Family would have been their last stretch coming from Nazareth. It would have been the last stretch for the Magi coming from Jerusalem. And when I was there, they repaved it with a grant from some United Nations company. And I saw in the parade today those stones that they put down there 5 years ago are still there. I used to have that icon school was right on Star Road, where I took Saturday morning classes, and I'd watch the pilgrims walk. It's more the rugged pilgrims. Our pilgrims have never walked that path, but you'd see the Polish and the Russians and the ones from India, maybe a little lower budget, maybe just more rugged or not expecting to be driven around. I don't know. But I'd be working on my icons, and these pilgrim groups would walk by on the Star Road on their way to the Church of the Nativity. And I saw, we have the L'Arche community we support. We sell their wool nativity sets and different crafts that we just had. We'll send them about $7,000, I think. So it was really a good help for them. I think what we did, thanks to Sharon and Rita and Gail for really giving a lot of time and energy to that. They always were there after every Mass selling the things. Anyway, so there's a woman named Elaine who's one of the, not the core members with disabilities, but one of the kind of helpers without the disability. She's like a non-disabled member of L'Arche community. And she was there with her Catholic Scouts group and marching and leading. She was the group right in front of the Archbishop, right in front of the Latin Patriarch, whose name is Pizzaballa, by the way, interesting name. Pier Battista Pizzaballa, that's an Italian name. So anyway, it was fun. It was just great to see her. I'm like, well, I know that road, I know that woman, and here they're walking in Bethlehem. And then I just caught the end of his speech, but he was just like, we gotta remember our brothers and sisters in Gaza, because they're all the same ethnicity, it's all Palestinian, and just all the devastation in Gaza like that. And then in Bethlehem, there's no tourism, which they rely on, especially the Christian community who relies on tourism. And they usually get work permits so they can go into outside of the West Bank and work in Israel proper, and the pay is better, and none of that, all the work permits have been revoked since the war, so 14, 15 months. It's really a depressed area. And anyway, so we remember that, and he called out for justice and end to war and for peace, and then he tried to rev up people with a spirit of hope. He said, we still have to celebrate Christmas, They don't put up a Christmas tree in Manger Square during the war. It's just like we can't have the balloons and whistles and all the lights and frivolity when our friends and family members are being killed in Gaza every day, which makes sense. But he said, we still got to celebrate Christmas, that God draws near to us, that God is with us. And we pray for peace, and God willing, there will be peace. And next year we'll have the biggest Christmas tree that's ever been in Manger Square, and everybody cheered, that vision of hope. It really is an Advent. Here we're at Christmas, but that they're living Advent now. They're kind of waiting for that, every mountain to be made low, every valley filled in, to prepare a highway for God and peace to come. So God bless everybody in Bethlehem and Gaza, Ukraine, and really, everybody. But it's just some people are really, really hurting. So, and they're not necessarily the. What should I say? They're really hurting, and I don't mean to diminish that in any way, but they also have full hearts, so many of them, and they got their faith. I read some stuff from, what did Rami say? So Rami's our guide, and he's not in Bethlehem, but he went to Bethlehem today, but he suffers because he's a tour guide. There's nobody coming, so he's trying to get some part-time job somewhere. But I mean, it's just really hard, and his message to all of us, he said, we had a little exchange, and then this was his card to everybody. He said, this Christmas, as we bear witness to the struggles in the Holy Land, may the light of peace and hope shine brighter than ever. In this season of love, may we find strength, healing, and unity through Jesus Christ, the Prince of Peace. Wishing you all a blessed Christmas. So, thanks, Rami. Okay, let's do some parish news, and maybe we can call it a night. Get a little sleep before the 9 a.m. Mass tomorrow. I think the only thing that's really urgent to announce is the potluck. So we're having the New Year's Eve. It's been a tradition here for a while, so hopefully a lot of people are expecting it. So we'll have one Mass for the Holy Day. The Holy Day being Mary, Mother of God, and the one Mass will be a Vigil Mass. So we won't have a January Mass on the day itself, but at a vigil you honor the day itself. So we'll have a 5:30 Mass on New Year's Eve. So hopefully that's before all the frivolity may start in your life. So I used the word frivolity twice in 5 minutes. Haven't said it in 5 years. Anyway, so yeah, we'll have Mass to honor the Holy Day Tuesday at 5:30, and then afterwards have a big reception in the gathering space. Hope you can come. I know we always wish the gathering space were a little bigger, so could accommodate more people, but come on in, grab some food. And it's kind of a potluck. If you forgot or whatever, come over anyway, because one of the ways the potluck is lucky for me and for all of anybody who comes is Shirley is getting the pulled pork. She's getting 2 big tubs of pulled pork from Famous Dave's. And so that goes a long way. So don't be shy about coming to have a sandwich and eat. And root beer, hopefully get root beer. I don't know. It's always sometimes I have the ideas, but I don't do any work. And this root beer is an example of that. So I always want to have root beer on tap, but it's better on tap, because then you're not buying 1,000 plastic bottles or, we'll see. You can't have all the ideas and expect everyone to do the work, right? So we'll see. Other quick things. So Italian dinner, fantastic. I think she's thinking of doing something different. She's always had the homemade pasta, homemade raviolis. I heard she's thinking of doing something with chicken and sauce, but her maiden name's Ricci, so Beth Cerny and Landon and the families and Ebert's usually chip in. It's always such a beautiful night, and it's a fundraiser. It's usually $25 a plate. I don't know what the tickets cost this year, but it's so nice. And I'll be on Saturday, January 11th. There's a book club meeting. It's not too late to get a book and to get it and read some of it. I just know I'm not going to be able to get through it all because I haven't. Advent, I pretty much think about Christmas. But on January 9th, Thursday, we will have our Parish Book Club. It's a very special one because one of our Parish Book Club members had a book published, and we're reading that. So Maureen Slauson, who is born Maureen Crow, and is the daughter of Marty Crow, who, if you've lived in the Chippewa Valley a long time, you like sports, you would have heard of. So he coached, at St. Patrick's when I was a high school, I think. When I was a high school basketball player, he coached against me at Rascal. And anyway, just kind of a legendary coach and teacher and a very good writer. And he wrote for the Green Bay, I think he coached in Marinette for a while, and he wrote for the Green Bay Diocesan paper for like 13 years, column every week or every month. And I think the majority of the essays in that book are from his diocesan newspaper columns. So Maureen had just a tub of his writings. She went through them all. She organized them. And everyone I know who's read them so far says this is really good stuff. And it's called Gooder, like not better, but Gooder. And Maureen Slauson. It's available at what's the place? The local, is it called no. Volume what? No. It's that place on Dewey in Wisconsin. It's like, what's it called? It's that store that sells Wisconsin stuff, or in Eau Claire stuff. Oh, I remember, it's late, right? Anyway, it's available there. It's probably available through Daughters as well, and it's also available through Amazon. So, and she gave a reading of it. It was just lovely to hear her actually read the writings and give some background for it at a downtown venue last Thursday. And so anyway, it's kind of exciting. Last year we had Larry Winter wrote a book about mental health, and we read his book for our book club, and it's very well received. And it's great to have the author with us, so we look forward to that. She's not so much the author, it's her father's writings, but she had little introductions to each thing, and it'll be lovely to hear her insights. Okay, I think that's about it. Mid-January, I'm going to be gone for 3 nights. I'm going to go to New York City. I thought, I got a special air flight and the ad in the mail, Sun Country, So hopefully the weather will be okay. I won't miss any weekends, but more of that. So one of these days, a midweek chat. Who knows what'll be in the background. I hope the Brooklyn Bridge, but who knows? Yeah, I like the Brooklyn Bridge. It's like an outdoor cathedral. I was never in New York City until I was like 27 years old. I think I've been there 3 times total, and the last time I was there was 21 years ago. So I think it might be fun. Or maybe I'll get there. Sometimes I travel alone, and I think, what the heck am I doing here? I'm just kind of in the city. I'm alone. I don't know. But sometimes I have the time of my life, so we'll see which one it'll be. Roll the dice, right? Okay, well, I got to go think of tomorrow's homily. I mean, I wrote it, but it's a different one from tonight. So, the Word became flesh and dwelt among us. That's tomorrow's reading. I forget, there's some really other beautiful lines in there. The darkness, came, the light came into the darkness shall not overcome it. But there were some who rejected the light. But those who accepted the light received the power to become children of God. That's tomorrow. Okay, taking this scene a little bit. God bless you, everybody. Merry Christmas.